So today very well could be the day that the verdict in the George Zimmerman trial comes in. I've heard a lot of people call it the Trayvon Martin trial, but this is not the Trayvon Martin trial. George Zimmerman is indeed the one on trial. So, of course, it is about Trayvon Martin. But the prosecution gave their closing arguments yesterday. The defense has given their closing arguments today, and it could go to the jury as early as this evening. So we could have a decision tonight. I have heard that they don't want them to give a decision coming up on the weekend, that they would like the decision made at the first part of the week. That, however, is simply going to be up to the jury and how long it takes them to deliberate. And it's not fair to ask the jury to deliberate some today, to take the weekend and stay in a motel room away from their families, and then let them give their decision on Monday morning. That's just not fair. I've also heard some people refer to the jury saying that it's not going to be a fair trial because it's an all-white jury. Well, but I do believe that one of the jurors is a black Hispanic. So that's not a white juror. And besides, you're not giving these people enough credit by thinking that just because they're white, they're going to vote one way. That's the whole thing with having a jury, is so that the jury can hear all the evidence, weigh the evidence, and they have to go by the law. They don't go on emotion. They do not go on feelings. I have been on the jury before, so you have to go by the letter of the law, which is why Casey Anthony walked. And all the jury members have said they knew Casey Anthony was guilty, but the state simply did not prove its case. And that fact in being, they could not find her guilty because the evidence, the tangible evidence, was simply not there. So, and I predicted that Casey Anthony would walk. When the trial was going on, I predicted, and I've got a video on here somewhere if you scroll through and find it. I said that I really felt like Casey Anthony was going to walk. And she did. This case of George Zimmerman, I feel like he will walk also, because I have watched the trial from start to finish, and the state, I don't feel, has proved their case. You know, and when I started in this, I was ready to see George Zimmerman be hung. You know, I was ready for that. Hanging, I said. And watching the trial, I just simply see that the state has no evidence. The state, you know, everything that George Zimmerman has said so far, not even so much as what George Zimmerman has said, as to, while watching the trial, I watched all the witnesses on the prosecution side, and the witnesses for the defense have all said the same thing. They've all said the same thing, and they're saying everything that George Zimmerman has been saying. The one thing that kind of has to be dismissed is the voice on the 911 tape screaming for help, because Trayvon's mother said, "That is my son, Trayvon Benjamin Martin." George Zimmerman's mother got up there and said, "That is my son, George." Both mothers say it's their son. And really, you can't expect them to say anything different. You can't expect them to say anything different. You know, any mother is going to say that, you know, that's my son screaming for help. You know, that's to be expected. There's a lot of stuff that has come out during this trial. Some's been admitted into evidence, and some has not, that I've had a hard time believing. You know, just took me by total surprise as to the character of both of these people. The character really shouldn't matter. You know, just the evidence and the facts at hand is what should matter. So, do you believe that if George Zimmerman walks, that there will be riots? I believe there might be. I don't believe it's going to be all over the United States like it was with Rodney King. And that was a whole different set of circumstances there. But I believe there might be if George Zimmerman walks. And George Zimmerman will certainly have to probably change his name and address just like Casey Anthony did. This is why I'm saying it will become a race issue if he is found not guilty and there are riots, because nobody rioted when Casey Anthony walked. So why would you riot if George Zimmerman walks? And to even riot and loot and all of that is stupid in itself, and I believe anybody that does that should be arrested. Because why are you going to throw something through the plate glass windows of stores that have nothing to do with any of this? Nothing to do with it. And you're just trying to make a point? Then you should be arrested and you should go to jail and you should pay for everything that you loot and everything that you destroy. It's ridiculous. You know, why are you going to let something that's going on with George Zimmerman and the Trayvon Martin case affect your life? Just because if he walks and you think it's racially motivated, why are you going to let that affect your life? You move on with your life. Get on with it. So what do you think? Do you think that there will be riots? Or do you think that there might be peaceful protests? Protesting I can see. If you want to protest, it should be a peaceful protest. I had heard, too, that in the courtroom that there were 4 seats available to preachers and pastors of the churches in Sanford so that they can sit and listen to both sides and then go back and talk and have meetings, town meetings with their congregations and anybody who wants to come and talk about the case to them in hopes that if he is found not guilty, that there will be no looting. So we'll see how that goes. I seriously expect a not guilty verdict. If he is found guilty, I say their appeal, that he will have a quick appeal. And it'll be turned around because the state just simply does not have the evidence that it needed to prove the case. So we'll see how it goes, and it's going to be very, very interesting. And I hope the decision comes in today because I've been following this from day one. And like I said, I don't believe the state has proved its case because even the state's witnesses have all said the same thing. Everybody has said the same thing. Except for Rachel Gentile, and I don't know what the hell she said. Even though I watched her, I still couldn't tell you what she said, and I don't think she knew what she said. She just had everything. She had admitted that she'd lied before. She made a few things up. She told some truths. So you really can't really rely on her a whole lot. So are you thinking that there's going to be a guilty verdict or a not guilty verdict? I know when the state gave their closing argument yesterday, before they gave their closing argument, they had asked the judge if they could have a charge of, if the jury didn't want to charge him with murder, if they could charge him with manslaughter. Which the jury needs to be aware of that, and they need to explain to the jury exactly what that means. Because in the state of Florida, if you are found guilty of manslaughter by gun, you're going to get the same amount of prison time as you would for murder one. And I think that's 25 years. So murder means you intentionally killed someone. Manslaughter means you didn't intentionally kill this person. So if they find him guilty of manslaughter, it's going to be with a gun. He's still going to get the same amount of time as if they'd found him guilty of murder in the first degree. So that can be an issue there. So anyway, what do you think? Do you think it's going to be guilty? Do you think it's going to be not guilty? Do you think there'll be riots? Have you come into this trial thinking one way and are going out of the trial thinking the other way? And what are your thoughts? And until next time, bye-bye.